am Ami, the founder and director of UnShushed Film Festival, and I'm super excited about what you're about to experience. It is an interview with the Audience Choice Award and Best Film Award winner, Miss Tanzania Black. Um, she is the co writer and director of If He Listened, and she's also one third of S&T Productions. So, without further ado, I'll give you the interview. Enjoy. Um, Prior to the first script that you had written, you had no desire to be a filmmaker.
I did not.
Oh,
I maybe like photography at one point. I did write like a children's book, so that was, I guess, as far as the writing had went. I love watching movies. I love watching TV shows. Like I was a kid where like my dad, I feel like going to museums and going to the movies was his thing as the as the parent as far as like what he would do with me. But no, like outside of that like moment, I just like it was just like, oh, I can do this. Like and she's my best friend, so like she will be the star every everything that I create. But yeah, it was I guess you would say a pretty random or God moment.
awesome. Okay. So you're moving into that Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan kind of situation with your friend.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
cool. Now let's get into If He Listened.
Mhm.
What is the impetus behind that story?
So we have a friend who like during that time was going through just going through a lot. One of them being like her mom getting like a cancer diagnosis and like not knowing if she was going to live like right after her mom had died from cancer or her grandmother had died from cancer. And so we just noticed that she was just struggling like in her faith in God and just joy in life, period. And so it kind of made us ponder like, yo, like why is it that it feels like God answers some and doesn't answer others? Like if I was the one, out here answering prayers, like the starving children in Africa would probably be top on the list, or this person who is being like SA'd, like that would be top on the list. Like why does God like pick and choose? And so that's kind of where it went, where we were trying to like just understand like God. And so I feel like I personally came to a place of like I may not understand like the nooks and the crannies of how God makes his decisions, but I do understand that he gave every last one of us free will. He gave us the freedom to choose to do or not to do something. And what we're experiencing, especially like the bad in the world, is the I guess you would say consequence of us being able to have free will, but also the luxury of being able to choose what we want to do. And so if he listen came from there of like, okay, like how do we kind of help people or help her really process what she's experiencing and not feeling this anger towards God because he didn't stop, in the movie, like this car accident from taking her mom. Like, how do we give peace or give just some type of like assurance that like God definitely hears you? But like, you don't want the reverse. Like, you don't want it to be where God answers absolutely everything because you may just be one person and you may have the best motives in the world. But Trump or Bob or this person, you know, their every prayer list may be completely different from yours. And so the hope was that she would see this film and feel some sense of like, I don't know, I guess you would say like peace or like rest in the fact that like I may not understand how why things happen the way they do, but I trust that God is good and I trust that all things are working together, and even in my grief, like he's a comfort even in my grief. Like there is a plan for all of this, like even when it sucks. And so, yeah, that was kind of what we wanted to do with that.
Sort of being faithful and trusting the process.
Yeah,
Yes. Now, is your friend also a part of your production team?
she is not. She is not. She's just
Okay.
a part of our friend group.
Oh, well, that's beautiful. That's a really nice gift to give to your friend. Um, okay. So when you decided that you were going to move forward with this film, Let's talk about the process as a director.
Mhm.
You already had your cast, you had your lead,
Right.
but you had other roles that you also had to cast,
Mhm.
and you also had crew that
Mhm.
you had to put in place to make this film come into fruition.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that process.
So, 2 things, there's a benefit to having a large friend group. Because now you have all of these free workers and all you have to do is feed them.
Okay.
So that was a huge avenue. Like even the DP of this film, like he is one of our closest friends who we've been friends with for the last 15 years, who like this has already been like his thing. It's been his like in his arena, and everybody else like has like they do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we brought it together. I think the other thing we did to get people, there's like these, I guess, groups on Facebook with people who are willing to like offer like service or work in exchange for like an IMDb credit or that sort of thing. So we went that route, and it was a very small team, but that team we took those what 3 days and put it together. But it was a lot of that was our friends. Like the house that we were in is our best friend's house. He was also the person who helped design the set, designed what the like, and that's something he already does. He's a designer, right? And so we just pulled on the many gifts of our friends to kind of put it together.
Oh, that's awesome. So no crowdfunding, no.
So yes, to kind of pay for like cameras and lighting and that sort of thing. How do we get the money? We asked family members, we asked friends. We did give a portion out of our like we invested in ourselves. I think at the end, like somebody like paid me like $1,000 to come teach like this 60-minute class. So like it was just various different things. It wasn't like a we crowdfunded for 6 months and we got the money. I think I said in my mind like, hey, we're gonna record this by I think we recorded in November. We started like in June trying to get money. I'm just like, we got to get the money by November. Like by any means necessary, and that's just what we did. Would I suggest that route? I don't know. I feel like this this next film we're doing, I'm hoping to like apply for more grants. Um I'm hoping to do some more crowdfunding and less taking out of like my own pocket, but also I'm still like I believe in like all of the projects that we have for the future, so I'm willing to, but I think that first time we were just fundraisers. We were fundraising like this is our first time fundraising, like
Mhm.
hey, $5, $10, every dollar matters.
Mhm. So, I don't know why I thought this was your second film. This is not.
No, this
This
is
is
my
your
first.
first.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Great. Oh my goodness. So, how has your festival run been going?
So it's been good. Our goal was like we were supposed to be done after December of 2025. Like that would be the end. I have a friend who is like a graphic designer for a film festival. She was just like, "Hey, like here's a film," and then like the person over the film asked me for the link, and it was like a couple of hours away, and I'm like, "We won't be able to go," and I'm just like, this doesn't not that it doesn't seem legit, but it's just like you just kind of I just gave her the link to the film, and she's like, "Okay," and then we get a message the other day saying, "Hey, like." You run one grand jury or something like for best film. I'm like, oh wow, like we're still here. And then so there was a couple other things where it was just like free to submit the film, so we submitted to that. So we're moving on to
Uh
the next
huh.
film, but there's just if there's an easy click of a button to submit it for. I mean, we're there, but in our minds, we are moving on to the next project.
That is how you have to be as a director. But the thing of it is that the film continues to have a life of its own. Like you just create
Yeah,
something. It's not quite like giving birth, but a lot of people use that analogy, and I'm just like, you have never given birth. But
that is
I
hilarious.
get why they say it because it's a
Yeah,
lot of work. And then you're just basically you've put something together and you're setting it free.
yeah.
Yeah, you nurture it. Yeah, so you get a team around it, you get your family around it, and then it's
Hmm.
off to the races. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been
Yeah.
interesting. It's been fun,
Mhm.
but I'm definitely ready to to create something else. And
Mhm. Now, are you based in Chicago?
based in Houston, I am
Okay.
originally from Chicago.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So you talked a little bit about your cinematographer.
Hmm.
What was the conversation like between you and your cinematographer to get the look for your film?
You know what? I can't even take much credit for it. He read the script. He saw like what I wanted to do and what I was trying to convey. And I feel like when we got to set, like again, I'm like very, very new to this. I had been maybe on one set prior to actually being on the set for this film. And I just like kind of gave him just a creative liberty to get the shots that he needed, but he also was our editor. And so that process, you see what I'm saying? Like he was a lot, but he was also our editor. And I feel like that's where we kind of leaned in on each other a lot more with like trying to produce like a cadence with the film just because it's so short and you want like people to get it. And so there was a lot of like, okay, this is good, but like let's add this in here. And he was just super supportive of like all the adjustments and changes, but also like saying, hey, like this would probably be best, or this is what we have, like this is what we can do with it. And so I think because we are good friends, it was just easy to be like, I don't like this, but like what do you think about this? And I mean honestly, I just let him like do what he does best because he did a great job. I feel like we've gotten a lot of compliments on like, whoa, this is your first film. Like, how did you get this? And I'm just like, it really wasn't me. Like I more so I had like a lot of conversations with the actors wanting to like pull out those emotions, but like the shots and how it looked was everything was him.
Okay. It's very atmospheric in a way.
Hmm.
It's not like deeply saturated. And I think that works well with the tone of the film and with the
Hmm.
storyline. And so yeah, that's why I was wondering what the conversation was around it. But you know, you get people around you, they know their job, you get out of their way.
Absolutely.
So
You're the expert. I'm just here having fun.
what you say, that's it.
I trust you. What? You know, if
Yeah.
it's wrong, I mean, this is still the first. Like, we are at this point allowed to make all the mistakes because this is the first one.
I hope you continue to hold that with every story that you approach because it can be challenging. Like, okay, so I did that. And so now,
Yeah.
sometimes I think I heard this just yesterday. No, it wasn't yesterday. I think it was about 3 days ago. Someone was talking about once you get the knowledge, it can sometimes hinder you. You start to think that
Mhm.
it's only this or that or this or what you've been taught. They weren't
Yeah.
talking about filmmaking. They were actually talking about, medical professions. It's like, so, where we're not looking beyond what's what we've been told,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I've just promised myself that I don't care. Whatever I did before, I'm gonna approach each film as if it's my first. So
Absolutely. I mean, 'cause
yeah.
it's a different story. It's something new that you're trying to share with your audience. Like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm really, I'm really excited. Hopefully, I have like two more short films that I want to produce this year, and I hope I'm able to do both because there's like they're drastically different from each other, but I think they're just like needed stories or lessons that people need to hear.
Hmm.
And I feel like if he listened, it's gonna be if he listened. Like, but those two are different from that, and so I'm not gonna compare. Now, of course, when I see if he listened, I see all the mistakes.
Hmm.
I have like this up and down journey with it. I'll watch it and be like, wow, that's a really good film. And I'll watch it again and be like, this sucks. Like, but then it's like when I watch it on my phone, it's like, it doesn't seem as good. But on a bigger screen, it's like, wow, we did a great. It's just a really interesting journey.
Yeah, there's one scene in particular that I do want to talk about. 'Cause I watched that scene a few times. It's the scene where the lead character is sitting in the bed chatting with her friend.
Hmm.
And I think it's just like the first time she realizes what is actually happening.
Hmm.
And I just want to like ask you to deconstruct that a little bit. I have my thoughts, my theory, but yeah, from the standpoint of where you were going with the story, the acting, and then
Yeah.
I know you said you sort of like stepped back when it came to the cinematography on that.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you can just talk about that scene.
So in that scene, I was hoping, like you said, like that she would realize like something is really, really off, and not just off with my mom and what I think is occurring, but also something is off with my best friend. And I wanted a slight, because the movie is a little depressing, but I wanted like a moment where there's like a little bit of comedy where you see two best friends like just connecting with each other, but also the lead actor realizing like something is wrong with her. Like, why are you talking this way? Why are you acting this way? This is not who you are. And forcing her to like wrestle, or not wrestle, but deal with the consequence of this prayer request to have all of her prayers answered. And so the goal was ultimately to get her to just to feel unsettled about like what she's experiencing by experiencing that with one of the closest people to her. And
Mm.
so it was the goal was for it to be like light, but also to be like, this is weird. Like, why why is she talking like that? Like, why did the best friend just automatically just like switch? And she became this like robotic weirdness. Like, it was to just pull on that because it is weird. It is weird to just for people to almost be controlled in a way that would come from someone telling them what to do and them abiding and not having any choice in the matter. And so yeah.
Mm.
What
Oh,
did you think? I'm interested in your thoughts. I feel like
I d-
as of now, like we have the people at the festivals and we have our family and friends, but like no one, I feel like I need some unbiased opinions. Like I really want to know like what did you think about the moment? Like that scene, but also like what did you think about the film? You can tell me the bad and the good because I feel like no one tells us.
oh, okay. So I thought it was a soft fantasy. I have my own categories. You'll probably
Hmm.
never see that in a festival. I'm like, oh, this is a soft fantasy. This is um it's not, and it doesn't have to be. It's not, unicorns, butterflies, and that kind of thing,
Hmm.
but it's fantasy.
Yeah.
I also, for that particular scene, I was just thinking about the juxtaposition of the two characters. It
Hmm.
seemed like the friend was more, or used to be, into
In the streets.
her pleasure in a different way,
Hmm.
getting which, getting satisfied in different ways. So um I was like, this is an interesting choice, but I also felt like it did bring some levity to the
Yeah.
film, but I didn't think the film was really heavy or depressing. I didn't find it depressing at all. I felt like it was about basically getting your prayers answered.
Yeah.
And somehow I was wondering, is that what she wanted for the friend? Did she want for her friend to change? Because that happened as a consequence of
Mm.
the prayer.
Mm. So I guess I'm answering it, but I think that's cool that I think it's cool that you took that route. I think it would be considered like in a city like Houston, where apparently the AIDS and HIV is like really, really bad right now and it's scaring people from coming here, that her
Mm.
being loose in that way would be considered would be a bad thing. And so considering that you have this like ordinance or this government or this entity that's controlling everything and saying, well, we don't, there's no gambling, there's no this and this, it's taking away all of the things that would be considered bad. So it's not necessarily
Okay.
what the lead character desired, but more so this entity is taking away anything that would be considered quote unquote bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. I was like, is this part of her prayer?
For you to calm down a little bit because you're doing too much. I love that.
Over here praying for our friends.
Mhm. Well, I will say, right. I would say depressing because the friends that we've watched it who've lost parents, it was very triggering for them. And it
Mm,
kind of like pulled on emotions and things that they, I guess, hadn't processed or dealt with yet.
yeah, I
So
can see that.
it was a
I
very
can
interesting
totally see
experience for
that.
them.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, I can also see it from, like what your true intentions was to give hope to
Yeah,
someone who was in a process of facing what might be mortality or
yeah,
the other side, you know,
yeah.
coming out on the other side in full bliss. So
Mhm.
I could see it in both ways. And definitely I can see how it would be triggering.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, all in all, I thought it was a great film.
Thank you, thank you.
And
Give me
yeah,
critiques. Give me critiques.
I really don't have any. The I think I just got it. Um from, my
Yeah,
own perspective or what have you, not always from what it is that you expected
yeah.
or what your intentions were for any of the scenes or what have you, but I I mean I got it.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty much where we have to be with our films is
Yeah,
that once it's out there, it's for people to experience in the way that they're experiencing. It's supposed to be whatever it is for them. And there are going to be a lot of interpretations of your film,
yeah.
regardless of what your intentions are or what shot angles you have or what you were able to pull
Yeah.
from the actors. And so, yeah, I don't think I yeah, I don't think they're ever really like there are some horrible films, but I don't think there are any good or bad films.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. It's
Yeah.
like horrible for a whole nother set of reasons. It's like when they start getting into the isms for no reason, that
Yeah.
kind of horrible. But yeah, it's art.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I
I
love
thought it
that.
was great. So,
I love that. Thank you.
hmm yeah. So, I want to hear what's next.
Yes. So we just me and Shay actually wrote this script together. So this would be, I guess, technically our second one. And I don't really know how we're gonna do it, but I believe we can do it. So we wrote this script about, it's called the Let It Go game show. And it's where like we've learned that like forgiveness, like we should forgive people, but ultimately like the effects physically, what happens to you when you don't forgive and what happens to your mind and like the stress, like when you just don't let stuff go. So that's like the underlying goal, but it's like this crazy game show with this very like sarcastic, charismatic host who's like almost like what we would say is like Satan, but in this very comedic way, who was taking these contestants through this game show where like they're forced to like deal with the hard stuff that they won't release. And so the person, so I'm sure someone's going to read it and say you have way too many scenes for a short film. I hear it, I know all the things, but in my mind, if we could like do this, it would just be such a good film. Like I would watch it. So I'm super excited about it.
Okay, so are you going for horror comedy or is this going to be flat out horror or what do you or is
I
it
would
not horror at all? Is it a straight comedy?
No, no, no. I would give it horror comedy.
Okay.
I would say there's a mix because I think the host like sarcasm and all of who he is kind of makes it funny in a sense. But there's definitely like a lot of like this would be horrible to experience. Like this is scary, but also it's like very dramatic as far as like their life experiences and what they went through and how they're trying to release and let it go. So it's a mixture of things for 15
Cool.
minutes. It's a lot for 15 minutes. I'm gonna have to cut it down, but right now, if I could do it exactly the way it was written, I would be totally excited about it.
Okay. So you're thinking that it will be 15 minutes, but it'll be packed, a packed 15 minutes?
If I was to do it as like right now, it would definitely be a packed 15 minutes. I think by the time it goes through reviews and all the people see it, it'll probably be it'll be less. It could honestly, it could be a 45-minute, 60-minute film.
Hmm.
I've condensed it into 15
Hmm.
because I want to do a short. I feel like we need a couple more shorts underneath our belt before we, it may be fear, but before we start producing feature films.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know what you are ready for.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell your story until there's, nothing left. And yeah.
That is the
And that
plan.
happens a lot as well with shorts, is that you shoot way more than you need, or you have more story than what,
Yeah.
you have time for. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I wish you all the best.
Yes, ma'am.
And it sounds like a great project, and I hope to hear more about it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully, preferably, we'll get it off the ground this year, but I'm excited. And thank you for inviting me for this interview. It's been
I
fun.
thank you for being here and just taking the time to talk with me. But yeah, you're welcome, I should say. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to see what's next for you.
Thank you. Thank you. And same to you. What do you have coming? What are you working on?
So I am preparing for the 2026 festival.
Okay.
I'm in post production for one short, and I'm in development for this this is a baby of mine. It was a stage play.
Okay.
Yeah, and I rewrote it for the screen.
Hmm.
And I thought, okay, I can do another short. I think I need to move out of the short phase because this will be like it would be my seventh short. And it's like, and there's no reason for you to be doing this, girl. And so,
I think it's
I'm,
fine.
yeah, I'm thinking that it's going to be a long form, but
Hmm.
I'm uncertain of if it's going to be a series or a feature.
Okay. Like you thinking vertical series or?
That's another thing I'm considering too. I'm trying to figure out how to make it accessible for both platforms
Okay.
without wearing myself out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would like for it to be accessible for vertical and for the screen.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah. And it's in horror,
Okay.
and it would actually be my second horror. Yeah, my second horror. So yeah.
How do you manage being in post with one and developing another? How do you manage both of those worlds?
So I have to tune everything out because everybody wants everything like yesterday, and I
Mhm.
do too. So, which is why I'm in that situation where I'm in development while I'm in post. It's also the way that I'm wired. I typically have a number of things going on no matter what. I'm writing, with my last film, I was writing a book. I was putting the festival together for the first, because the festival, this is just the second year.
Okay.
So, yeah, shooting a film, writing a book, and putting the festival together.
Wow.
And it's like, okay, this other thing just keeps talking to me, and I'm like, stop it.
Right.
I have a lot of interest, and I think that's just the way that I'm wired.
Yeah.
Um, I think maybe someone would call it ADHD or what have you, but
It works.
I I don't see it that way. Yeah, it does. And also, I also remind myself about the process in general because actually COVID made me recognize the fact that these things take time. I shot a film, started shooting in January 2020, and then March everything shut down, and it was like, okay, I'm not going to anyone's house, and not going to have a lot of people over here.
Yeah.
I'm not going. Everything was shut down, and so I had to wait, and I had to be patient. And what happened was that I ended up with a totally different. Well, the storyline was the same, but I ended up like my selection of visuals shifted, and the language of the film shifted,
Mhm.
and the color and the tone of it shifted, and I was just like, this is what it was supposed to be. And
Yeah.
so COVID taught me, look, you got to respect the process, because I was like, okay, I want to get this film done and I'm going to do it now. I think I pulled everything together as far as like shooting it and all of that stuff. I think I probably like 2 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and then and we got it all shot. And then the world, as I'm looking for editors and sound people, post sound,
Yeah.
the world shut down, and it was like, okay, girl, you got to learn some new skills. And so it was just a lot
Yeah.
of that. And so I was like, you know what, respect the process. It's not something that I like to do. I would like to just have all the funds in the world and call up this person and say, and the world not be shut down, and
Yeah.
everybody trusts that they're not going to get sick, or all those kinds of things.
Mhm.
And I was just like, that's not the situation, and so I'm going to be here with this story and let it be what it's going to be. And so
Yeah.
when I'm working on another project, and actors really, they want it done because they want it out there, they've invested that work into it, and I totally respect
Mhm.
that because I came into the industry as an actor.
Okay.
And so I would be like, can I get my footage for my reel? Like, what's going on? And so I understand that. Um, but I have to tune that out in order for it to be the story that it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's my
you've done
process.
a lot. I'm
Yeah.
excited. That's
Yeah.
awesome. 7 short films, and you're gonna do a feature soon.
A long form. I don't know if it's gonna be
Long
feature.
form. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Well, it's been great talking to you.
Same
And
here.
again, I'm just planning to follow your career as a filmmaker.
Oh, thank you. Same.
Yeah. Okay. Enjoy your day.
You too.
All right. Bye bye.